Hello, my name is Michael Walsh. I'm a partner at Avinsky & Katz, and aside from helping our clients fulfill their objectives in terms of planning for their retirement, philanthropy, passing their values and the things that are important to them to the next generation and to their community, I also am privileged to serve on the board of the Coral Gables Community Foundation. A donor-advised fund is a charitable vehicle. It allows folks to put money into this vehicle for which they receive an income tax deduction in the year that they made that contribution. From there, you can make grant recommendations to the Coral Gables Community Foundation, and upon those grant recommendations being affirmed, money is transferred directly from your donor-advised fund directly to the not-for-profit that you've identified. Private family foundations have been around for a very long time. In a nutshell, an individual or family would set up a private family foundation, like the Gates Foundation, like many others that came before them. They make contributions to those foundations. For making those contributions, they receive an income tax deduction that they can use to reduce their taxes for that particular year the gift was made. And aside from that, each year, money is distributed from the private family foundation to different not-for-profits to cover a host of different things. It might be feeding the poor. It might be building schools in Nigeria. It might be helping the local Irish community in South Florida. Whatever the cause is, it has to be a public 501c3 for the money to go from the private family foundation directly to that not-for-profit. Otherwise, it might be disallowed and you might be audited by the IRS. Fast forward years later, the IRS has allowed us to use what's known as donor-advised funds. This, for all intent and purposes, is very similar to the private family foundation. The differences are, though, you get a higher income tax deduction for making the contribution to your donor-advised fund. On top of it, there is no mandatory requirement of withdrawals each year, and also you don't have the same ability as the private family foundation to potentially hire your children, grandchildren to join the board, to sit on that board, to get paid, and to also make grant requests. A lot of our donors had private family foundations in the past, but they said the administrative work, the cost, and the fact that they're not putting billions of dollars through them, it might not necessarily be the best vehicle. And what we've seen is a lot of folks have converted their private family foundations into a donor-advised fund. They're still able to reap the entire benefits of the tax-free growth on the underlying investments, contributing to causes that are near and dear to them, but they lose the burden of having to do the annual accounting, the annual tax audit, and the annual investment management of the private family foundation, which for them is a relief. And that's why they use organizations like the Coral Gables Community Foundation to partner with. Oftentimes, when donors come to us, they ask, what types of things can I donate to the community foundation, specifically my donor-advised fund? It's a very important question. At this point, we will receive contributions of cash. What's cash entail? A wire transfer, a check, a debit card, a credit card. There are other assets that you can absolutely contribute to your donor-advised fund as well. Those are public securities, right? If you have a stock that you bought 20 years ago for $100 and now it's worth $1 million and you want to donate that, we can absolutely accept that contribution. The benefit to you is you avoid the capital gain that is embedded in that particular investment. We also receive gifts of public securities aside from individual stocks. If you have a mutual fund or an exchange-traded fund that's publicly traded, we can accept those gifts as well. Similar to the stock story I told you about a moment ago, any embedded capital gains will be neutralized when you make the donation to your donor-advised fund. Depending on which type of investment you donate, cash or publicly traded securities, you will have a different limit that you can deduct from those gifts on your tax return, and we highly, highly encourage you to speak with your tax professionals to figure out what is the best vehicle, that is the investment, to contribute to your donor advised fund before you start having an impact in your local community and all around the country. Their knowledge of the local community and how to stretch a dollar goes well beyond just table stakes in terms of anything that you think about when it comes to other foundations out there or other entities that administer donor advised funds. When I go to Mary and say, I want to have $5,000 go to local education, or I'd like to have that money go to park and recreation, I don't have the wherewithal to figure out which 50 charities in the area could actually receive that money. She and the rest of her team are absolutely dialed in to the local community. They know who the players are, and she helps me match my contributions with organizations that are going to absolutely make sure that that money goes to the best possible use. So for that reason, I trust the Coral Gables Community Foundation to administer my fund, and that's why each year I continue to add to it. I continue to recommend them to every single person on the planet. I am a raving fan of the Coral Gables Community Foundation, and that's because they have followed through on everything that they promised me over the years and continue to provide world-class service. And aside from my personal donor advised funds, our company, Avinsky & Katz, uses the Coral Gables Community Foundation for our corporate philanthropy, which runs into hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. So whatever your problem is, whether you're an individual that just wants to get some income tax deductions, or someone that really wants to make sure that their donation is impacted in the biggest way possible in the community, or a large corporation that does their own philanthropic giving, the Coral Gables Community Foundation is a wonderful resource and a partner for anyone or any organization out there.